I wish I'd started earlier. And I think there's only so much you can research on. So in my case, it's more of having an interest in manufacturing and hardware and making in Kenya. So I spent a lot of time reading about and visiting informal manufacturing areas, such as like Kariobangi, Gikomba, all these places where people are making woodwork, metalwork, how they're doing it, what the processes are, and how people had learned the skills. And this was important to understand how to leverage this great platform that's out there of informal learning and trading. But in hindsight, I do wish I'd started the training just a lot earlier. I think that as an entrepreneur, you do have the capacity to start, and there's only so much you can know until you start. So one of the things I did learn is from the first workshop is, making sure like your content is really rich. So knowing what you want to deliver, knowing why it's so important, why people should spend, maybe a day, at least for me for training, why they should block out a day to come for your training, what are they gaining? And so these are a lot more of like the value proposition side of things. I wanted young Africans to be as equipped as anyone else in the world. And this is mostly in the electronic scene because you find that we tend to be more of a consumer market, and yet we have such a vast capacity of young, talented engineers and people in IT. So making sure that you get the content, rich content right out from the start. And this is only something you can do over time, keep improving and working it over time. So that really ties up in doing as much research as you can. And I look over the years, and right now when we're looking at having more of a MOOCs kind of platform, it's to make sure that we stay globally competitive so that we don't tie ourselves to traditional classroom learning. So whatever company you're running, do look at like the rudimentary entry point. So for our case, it's to have like in-house training. So that was like the entry level point of Foondi Workshops. But make sure that you evolve with things. And this is to make sure that you stay as globally competitive as possible, reach as wide as an audience as you want to. All these companies that startups admire, Facebook, Apple, in as much as they're building companies and products in their context, they make sure that access is a very important point for them. So if Facebook was only accessible in Mandarin, it would mean that a very limited audience would have it. Where I'm using Mandarin as, not necessarily the language, but the delivery of what you're working on. So for me, I'd say stay as globally competitive as you can. Look outside, find out how many people are doing similar things, learn from each other. I think competition is very healthy. It helps create this critical mass of people who are working on similar ideas. But yeah, I would say start as early as you can, I think would be one of my key points. Start as early as you can, grow as fast as you can. Make sure you deliver a product that you would buy yourself. And so this is recently this is something I've been working on more, is attending my own workshops, making sure that this is something I would like to pay for. So putting yourself in that user kind of position is very important for any business, whether you're selling in a store, or you're selling like a product or a service or an app. Putting yourself in that position is really important. And lastly, just keep growing and stay as globally competitive as possible.